K'Sante, of course. I know you're a very, very big fan of this champion, Oisin, so I'm sure we'll get to see some plays, and copy-pasters will be primed and ready in the chat. If this goes alongside the Wukong, we wouldn't be too surprised about it.
I know you're the CEO of ADC Hate, but like sometimes.
Oh no, K'Sante's ridiculous. Don't worry, like I'm there with you. No, it's okay.
We're both on the same page, so that seems. But yeah, look, K'Sante, it's a no-brainer here for Shanji. He is, again, in a world where K'Sante is broken, he is probably one of the best players on this champion, without a doubt, in my mind. And of course, getting Creme onto something like the Hery as well. Most likely going to see Aki picking up the Wukong, which again, kind of similar enough to what we see from OMG a lot of the times. A lot of teams have adapted the supports and ADCs kind of falling down the draft order, and these solo lanes kind of need to be picked up early.
Yeah, so I feel like one thing, when you kind of end up with solo laners picked up super early, or like on one side, you typically want to do either the inverse or you want to match it. You never want to end up, in my opinion, if one team is drafting full top side plus jungle, you then don't want to draft like half and half. I feel like it makes second ban phase a little bit too easy for the opponent. So I like the OMG are matching, and I mean, I feel like realistically the idea was take away the Hery so you don't have to deal with the Hery Vi combination. Then you always know you're picking up Wukong on 3 anyway. And as for Ultra Prime, going towards the Renekton in the top side, tried and tested matchup, we've seen that a bunch of times, but Forge going towards his Akali in this instance. Definitely not one I was expecting, but we know what the pick can do, but a lot of skirmishing available to both sides on the top sides of the map. So I expect that first Herald in particular is one where I'll be keeping my eyes locked and loaded towards. But for now, OMG banning away the Alistar, probably look to second away another support. And Ultra Prime, I wouldn't be too surprised if they try and ban away 2 AD carries here, just because OMG have first pick of the litter for that.
And I love that Abel's drawing out the Samira bans. We've been seeing it kind of cropping up. He was one of the first people on 13-12 to kind of start picking it up and said, I can do this. Not the greatest of successes, I'll be totally honest with you. It wasn't actually a completely, giga-busted pick, but it's definitely something that does need to be given a lot of respect, considering things like the Alistar have been banned away. Honestly, if they had left that open, I wouldn't have been surprised to see the Braum taken away as well. But it's taken off the board. The Draven gets banned away from Doggo. Not going to be allowed to have him any kind of pressure in that lane. Now the Tristana as well. So OMG kind of getting, again, more respect, kind of personal bans being thrown at them, as they know that Abel is one of the premier AD carries in the bot lane with that Tristana pick.
Yeah, he really has been. And OMG going to go towards this rail. I've been, kind of on the fence about this rail priority from certain teams, but I definitely do feel like I'm starting to see its value a lot more in terms of less about the primary engage all the time, but a lot more about the re-engages. The re-engages for rail for me are a lot more powerful. Starting to see that kind of come to fruition. So we'll see exactly how Ppgod pilots that one. It is blind, but with the Alistar gone, I'm sure he feels a little more confident about a lot of the bottom lane matchups, but Rakan's Aya slipped through, so that's just going to be the instant lock-in. That makes way too much sense for this Ultra Prime lineup, and now the Vi kind of has a diving buddy alongside the Akali, but just talking about a little bit more setup. And Abel, will he just go towards Aphelios? I mean, there's not really a reason not to, unless he really feels like he needs something else, but he's got 4 or 5 targets that he's always going to be able to hit. That's always going to be running into him, so it doesn't feel that bad. And it seems like that'll be the case. He's just got to position well enough against Ning to not get ulted and immediately blown up by the rest of the composition of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, and look, the 2 compositions locked and loaded now. We're going to be seeing a lot of 5v5s. We need to be seeing a lot of 5v5s coming out here from OMG if you're an OMG fan, because look at the way they want to try and set up these fights. You crash down with the Rel, you go in with the Cyclone, you try and pick people off. Very front-to-back kind of style team fight with your assassin mid laner, and of course your AD carry doing it from the other side. But then, look at an Ultra Prime. Like, if this Renekton can find a great flank, if you're able to kind of separate the side of OMG so they can't get that front-to-back team fight, it's almost like kind of, which one wins, an unstoppable force and a removable object, because both these sides have very clear weaknesses of how they, how their comps will, falter, but also strengths and how they want to try and deal with those.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Look over to the Ultra Prime side, and I feel like just because both of the, I say Ultra Prime side, I look at both of these compositions holistically, and you're right. I think because they both kind of want to run into each other for the most part, that 1, we get loads of blood, and 2, this just turns into a game of execution. I feel like scaling's kind of out the window when you have 2 compositions like this. It's more about, all right, who's stacking up the early dragons, who's able to actually, consistently pull out lane prio, and who's actually able to make it to skirmishes first. These are going to be the bigger questions, as opposed to, hey, who has the better scaling AD carry in this game? Because the answer is, Xayah and Aphelios can kind of pull out a lot of work, especially you playing Xayah into a dive comp. You always know the feather pullback is going to be threatening, and Aphelios red-white or even green-white into these divers, you can mince through those health bars.
Absolutely, and look, we cannot stress enough how important this game is for both these sides. For OMG, it's about separating yourself from the rest of the pack, getting yourself closer to a top 4 finish. But for Ultra Prime, this could be the turning point of when your season didn't turn into playoffs, didn't actually turn into, you know, extra games or extra chances to get yourself up to Worlds. They need to start the momentum now if they want to have a chance. And it all starts in game 1 of this best of 3. We jump onto the Rift and we'll see if there are anything too crazy. Look, we don't actually, you know what? I lie. I take that back. I was gonna say we don't usually see anything for the first, you know, 6 to 8 minutes of the game. That's actually not been true. We've actually, with the changes of 13-12, we've actually been seeing a lot of jungle presence coming down towards that bot lane specifically in the first few minutes of the game.
Whoa, jungle presence on the bottom side? Jungle presence? Bottom side? Nah, I don't believe you, Oisin. I feel like you're lying. No, but that is definitely true. I feel like it's more true than ever that like jungler presence towards the bottom side just feels more weighted, and it's more or less because it feels like if you have a losing bot lane, the game is just way harder than having any other losing lane to a point where you don't really have any priority to do anything around it. But you are right though. On the Ultra Prime point, going back to it, this is almost the make or break series, right? This is out of the rest of the series that they have. I guess they play Weibo after this, don't they? So maybe, I don't know, maybe Weibo are,
that's the series. Yeah, they play Weibo, Top Esports, LGD, and IG. That's the remaining schedule after this.
Yes, because LGD, IG, pretty beatable teams, right? Even though they are definitely on a mild upswing towards the end of the season here. Those are teams that you would hope that you can take down, but if you can get a win out of OMG or Weibo in a couple of days' time, all of a sudden making it into the top 10 doesn't seem impossible, right? It's still in your own hands, I think, is the important thing.
Want to try and keep the momentum, as said, keep it in your own hands. Try and get as much going. And for Ultra Prime, it's about, again, just kind of making sure you're not just losing early skirmishes, you're not just getting lost in the sauce.
Oh,
so if this gets scrappy, OMG are going to find themselves in a much more powerful situation. Level 3 gank up towards this top side. And I lied again. It wasn't bot lane that's going to be seeing the engage. It's going to be top. Will we see a flash for flash? No. Shanji holds the Q3. And Hery, very well done just to keep his summoners.
Yeah. Bit awkward for Aki there on the approach. As it could even be a little bit more awkward. Flash Q maybe? Yeah, good reaction and good response from Aki.
Very, very well done, but again, good to see responses from Ning, you know? He went immediately from that bot side clear and said, cool, I'm just going to make sure that Hery has a decent enough time because, as I've said to Kitty a lot of times, that people say this as a counter matchup in the kind of early game for the Renekton, but he has to get advantages. He cannot just let this Cassante scale because then he just ends up falling behind anyway.
Yeah, it definitely does. I feel like for me, in the 1 versus 1 specifically, because we've had a lot of the adaptation of like the Thornmail Rush from Cassante's into Renekton, it feels like it really does curb his ability to 1v1 you in the side lane. And priority is definitely very key. And speaking of priority, this is a lane where Creme is going to have plenty of it. It seems we're hovering over it. And I want to see OMG use it, right? First move out of Creme to a side lane or just securing an early dragon. I feel like it's going to be really crucial. Or just try and alleviate the pressure that SwordArt and Doggo have been putting on Abel and Ppgod for the first couple of minutes of this lane. And probably will be for a little while. I feel like Zyra can't into Felios and Rel is a lane that likely leans in the favor of the Zyra Khan for a while until maybe the level 6s come online and you can find some cheeky engages at absolute best. So OMG definitely have their options in the early game, as we've already seen Aki try to go up towards the top side as well. So I like the aggression, and I like the fact that OMG, or Ultra Prime as well on the opposite side, have kind of just kept it quiet and also reacted where appropriately.
I love how our observers just zoomed in there just in case. Just in case. It was like, we know the Rakan has a proc of his Relic Shield. We're just going to make sure he gets that cannon. As it's one of our nice little... it's kind of like
a mini game, isn't it?
It is a mini game. Yeah, I was only saying this the other day, where it's just like you can kind of tell who's observing in internationals or what broadcast you're watching based on like you know, based on what region it's in. Because if it's like, you know, you got a lot of like, you know, pro views from the LCK, from the LCS, they love to go Fog of War like a lot. From LEC, they do like cool cinematics. And then in the LPL, we love to highlight those cannons, just really zoom in on them and focus in on them. So it's just nice, you know, little regional disparities. You know, it's cool.
You better not miss that cannon. That's what you're saying. If it's an LPL Observer on the day, you miss a cannon, I'm telling you, the entire world is gonna know. Every single time. They must just have, I mean, I guess it depends on
It must be a meme on like the broadcast side.
Yeah, it has to be.
It has to be. It's great though, because it's a meme for us now. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's great how much communication can go on without words being spoken. Hey, it's
the universal language of flaming someone.
It's like,
toxicity is universal.
You know for sure that the universal language of -1 just exists on the Chinese side. As Ultra Prime are trying to go +1, I guess, on this dragon. But OMG know it's happening. They also have first move from mid, but not from bot lane. And this could be a bit awkward for Ultra Prime because they've not started out particularly fast. And Ning didn't necessarily bring it down quite low before the rotation came in from SwordArt and Doggo. So Aki's already back down here on the bottom side. He's going to poke his head and just make sure nothing's going on. And just clear away vision. I thought he was going to maybe just skip over this ward and try and eye up and engage. Won't be the case. Creme should be fine.
Yeah, no flash. No flash on Ning means a flash Q wasn't really in the vicinity to kind of happen. We might see some Scuttle Wars, but honestly, I feel like Aki doesn't really have the kind of presence to go for this one just yet. I will say, though, we can see Ppgod now going crashing down on top of Doggo's head with that extra sentry turret from the Crescendum. We might see them go for a little bit of a fight, but it's kind of scrappy at the moment now. Both teams kind of taking weird engages, but there's a great charm right onto Ning, who still doesn't have flash, doesn't have ultimate, will go down the first blood, bonk on the head onto him, and it's a bit of a 2v2 as the AD carries now fight each other. Look at all those chakras. Flash away, but does able to have the damage with the Calibrum? Yes, he does! And survives the tower as well. But while that was happening, a flash for flash, as it ends up being a 3-for-2 trade overall. Creme with the movement speed, but not got the range.
Yeah, not got the range. I'm really surprised there. I'm not sure about the back end for Creme there, because I think he had mana for W. Maybe it's 40 mana. I looked in the bottom left, but either way, like you mentioned, really, really messy. 2v2 on either side of the map. OMG win out in the jungle exchange, I feel like, a little bit more. But certainly on the bottom side exchange too. We will get a replay and probably look at what happens in the 2v2 between the jungle and mids. Because on the bottom side, Abel completely dominated Doggo and SwordArt there. A little bit hard to overcome. Crescendum plus green gun. So let's get a look. Creme goes in, finds the charm onto Ning. That's why he dies so quickly. It's basically a near perfect combo. Forge is doing his best. Eventually finds... Ooh, is he going to split his damage here? Yeah, he splits his damage, but it doesn't really matter. He's still able to pick up Aki quite quickly. Creme, however, has to eventually get the long chase down. I'm kind of curious about his biscuit usage. Whether or not he actually still had it at the back end, and that's why he was late for the W. But this is just a good engage here from Ppgod. Yes, he gives his life up for it, but the fact that he's able to lock down SwordArt and Doggo just gives Abel the angle to do this, and even he's able to get out with his life. You'd think maybe you'd need flash to get out on the back end, but not this man. He's able to walk it out.
And the big thing that I'm noticing from that is that, yes, it's a relatively even trade. However, it was 2 kills over to Abel. 2 kills onto an Aphelios means that he is accelerated immensely, getting that attack speed, getting himself a little bit of extra damage as well. And honestly, the boots are so key as well, having those Berserker Greaves available to him. So good vision control for the moment here for Ultra Prime, as they honestly... I've said this in their last series as well. They get very formulaic about this dragon. They need these early dragons, and it's kind of becoming a little bit of a pain point for them if teams have an opportunity to fight them. Fortunately, though, for Ultra Prime, they do not have anyone to contest with. They should be able to pick up that dragon, no problem whatsoever. And because the first dragon was a Chem Drake, we are going to have a relatively good soul.
My man. Yeah. I don't know. They'll buff it one day, Oisin, one day. But
they'll just completely rework it, as they always do with things like this.
Yeah, what do we feel like? Do we feel like they're just gonna rework it again? I wonder, because, gosh, are we gonna get into the balanced team questioning of decision? Oh, God. I don't know if I want to really do that on broadcast. But
dude, I don't know if I want to put myself out there for my lack of game dev knowledge.
Oh, okay, that's fine. See, I'm not game dev either, but I feel like sometimes you don't need to be a game dev to feel that something is oppressive or on the opposite end.
True.
Not particularly.
Remember the Chem Rift?
Yeah, let's not
Chem
go
Rift was bad. The Chem Rift is not. Do you know what I found incredible though when they announced the Hex Dragon? Because again, I don't have a problem with them trying new things. I think it's awesome to see, like, you know, them try different things, and, you know, some work, some don't. But it was really cool to me that, like, the Hex Dragon and the Hex Rift universally loved. One of the best changes in the game.
Ooh.
Stop myself real quick. Perfect execution. Forge does not have the damage underneath the tower, but Creme just get himself out with his life. But yeah, Hex Dragon, universally loved. Like, everyone was like, absolutely top notch. And then Chem Dragon and Chem Rift, universally hated. It was so busted. The Rift was so unfun to play around, and it just made it like when you were behind, you were even further behind because you couldn't even ward to get yourself back into it. Like, it was so oppressive. But yeah, just interesting how things go, you know?
It was a silly... Yeah. You know, I prefer the Rift that we've landed on now. I'll say that.
Oh, I love the plants. I love the Rift of the Chem Rift now. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. They're excellent. But yeah, definitely do feel a little bit of ways about the Soul. I think it's just one of those things where, to me, Souls need to be about... Oh, I don't want to say snowballing per se, but like... They need to always have... Not high risk, high reward. No, they just always need to have a good use. Oh, I feel like Doggo didn't know that that plate was actually still on the cards there.
Yeah, and Ppgod
not going to stop his base.
I was going to say, it's like, oh, he's going to stop the base here and just be a nuisance.
You can see it on the lens as well.
Yeah, he just didn't auto-attack. I don't know.
I wonder if, because I think the way the lens works is it always shows you the model. Because Doggo was recalling and it had that carriage, he was just like, what the hell?
Who is that? I just saw SwordArt. Like, what was going on?
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, look, you know, maybe he wanted to get back. Maybe the plate going down isn't as worth as getting a reset in, getting that Kraken Slayer. As much as, you know, Los Platos, the curse of Los Platos, you're very aware of this curse.
Yes.
And,
I'm glad that you've taken up the mantra.
Laners. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you've taken up the mantra. It's a great...
I've read your lectures. Incredible. I love your research.
I feel like OMG have done their research and acknowledged that Ning likes to go through lanes all the time, especially on this Vi pick. He's just going to walk into the lane and arrow. Alright, never mind. So, doesn't need any research for this one. It will just hit the tower. It's only going to take one plate. I'm just going to feel a little bit bad, but it's really close to taking a second.
Nearly
so it shouldn't be too hard to get that. Nearly two. Yeah. But this is good for Ultra Prime. They can keep pressure up high down here on the bottom side. Even though Abel is 2-0, it still feels like control of this side of the map kind of remains in Ultra Prime's favor for now. Unless...
we're looking a bit... Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, I don't know... If you really want to go for that one there, we do see plenty of presence in that bot side. Good vision control here for Ultra Prime as well. It's to be cleared out by OMG's Ppgod. Again, just kind of waiting to see where the next real big explosion will happen. A minute till the next dragon spawns. You have 3 minutes until the Rift Herald's there. Honestly, it feels like if you win that dragon fight, if there is one, you will kind of convert it straight away into a Rift Herald, much like we saw Ning do earlier on with the first two objectives. He got at the dragon after the fight, immediately back up to the Rift Herald. So this could be a little bit of a momentum swing back for Ultra Prime. They're not too far down, only about 1,000 gold, so definitely 100% within their power to come back into this. And with first items being picked up, they could find themselves an opportunity or two to really punish OMG if they overstep.
Yeah, and this is a PowerPoint now, actually, for Ultra Prime. I'm not sure how close he will be, but if Forge is nearly level 11, he's already got the Rocket Belt, and that really propels Akali's backline threat and just ability to one-shot most targets at this point in the game. I hope the observers click on her at one point, just so we can see how close Forge is to level 11, because Creme's already there. So it should just be about maybe one more wave or so. I mean, they can fight before it anyway. It's not like it's a must-have. He's already got one item, but just having the lower cooldown for the next cast, having more damage on cast, it's just going to feel good. There you go, so level 11 is hit.
There it is. And we're going to see them move in for the fight. There's the Cyclone defensively. Is that level 11 ultimate? Forge immediately executes Aki. No jungler now for the side of OMG. Flash away, flash in, slice and dice. Hery comes up with a kill. The Cassante not really in a position to kind of answer back for that. And this is exactly what I was talking about. You got yourself an early game composition with the Renekton. You got to use it, and Ultra Prime have done just that. Now they're looking for a little bit more, but not quite able to convert anything else.
Yeah, not just there, but strength of champions, right? That's what we're talking about here. Akali, Renekton, Vi, these champions dominate these stages of the game in Ultra Prime, or OMG rather, whilst their composition, again, thematically kind of matches up with Ultra Prime's. It's different power points, right? Different ways that they actually get things started, a little more nuanced at times. And in this case, for Ultra Prime, it's pretty simple. Send in Ning, pick a target, kill him. It's that easy. Aki, the unfortunate victim of 2 ultimates in a row. Forge gets himself out of that gravity well as well from OMG, and the mixer down there just means that the flash out has to come through, but Ppgod gets followed on by Hery, and very easy to lock him down. OMG lose out on that skirmish, and the gold swing is actually quite hefty because they were up about 1,000, maybe 400, 500 gold. They're actually now down a little bit less than 1,000 gold. So very, very big swing. Don't forget with Herald being up now as well in 20 seconds time, that's another objective which realistically Ultra Prime should be angling for. And you anticipate they'll get Forges on the bottom side for a teleport. So just keep your eyes on him and his ability to find the backline access with that summoner spell as well.
Big swing back in favor now. You can see it went from 1,000 gold down to 1,000 gold up. 2 dragons, and we're on an Infernal Rift. So it's actually a lot better for Ultra Prime to find those flank angles, get Hery in behind the enemy lines, jumping onto the Aphelios and whatnot. So curious to see how OMG kind of adapt themselves to make this one work for themselves. It looks like, honestly, they're just giving up this Rift Herald and saying, look, we just can't fight right now. We need the Cassante to have 2 items. We need 2 items on our Aphelios. It doesn't look like they're fully given up just yet, but it's a very late rotation. TP going to be coming in here from Forge, who still has Flash, Perfect Execution back up and available. Yeah, Rift Herald's gone. I don't really know what OMG were trying to do there, and they just kind of wasted a little bit of time. I don't think they were ever going to be able to contest.
Me neither. Very, very strange decision making here from OMG. Super late rotation. And they just didn't have any control. But that being said, even if you take into account the rest of the map state, I'm not sure where else they could have gone. Bot side was pushed in by Forge. Top side up here, controlled by Hery. Kind of hard to move him, so I feel like OMG were kind of stripped for options before the play anyway, so I'd actually just attribute that to a good map movement from Ultra Prime as a whole.
Absolutely.
Denying OMG any opportunity to actually respond at all.
Yeah, really, really well played by Ultra Prime just to get themselves now 4 objectives off the bounce. Nearly a 2,000 gold lead for them as well, which is great to see. And again, this is the Ultra Prime that we have been seeing kind of dribs and drabs of throughout the season. Yes, they're 4-7. You're probably thinking not the greatest of teams, but they have been kind of in those situations where they get those first 4 objectives. They're building that momentum, and they kind of force other teams to play to their style, which is this very heavy objective kind of play style. And if they can execute around this next dragon or so in a 2 minutes time, this could be a very scary game here for OMG. OMG will not be given the time to let this Ahri get up to get some significant damage, to let this Cassante become a menace in the side lane, because Ultra Prime will already be too far ahead.
Yep, absolutely. I do agree with you. I think about Ultra Prime in the same vein I think about TT on the talk as well. We saw that upset win yesterday, where it's like, these players, I liked what you said earlier about them. I think it was like a ragtag team, kind of, everyone couldn't really find the place, but they found the place here. And not quite the same story for TT, but more along the lines of, they all have these bright moments individually, and when they come together, they look like an excellent team. It's just not always something that's found consistently, but Ultra Prime definitely can do it. And again, this is the perfect time, in my mind, now to be playing OMG, considering the recent run of form, even in some of their wins, to be entirely honest with you. And right now, OMG still look a little bit shook, to be entirely real. They're not necessarily playing on the same page. That first skirmish, where they found out Ning was good, but beyond that, Ultra Prime have just had so much control of the map, and have been able to deny away so many, not only options, but just so much information from OMG. They've not been able to make concise decisions very quickly. And now Ultra Prime sit 1 minute away from Dragon, with 2 items approaching on a majority of their carries. And the Herald to work with too. And that's going to be something that, again, OMG are going to have to be made to think about when that comes to fruition, because you know it's going to be dropped probably on this Dragon spawner.
Yeah, and just weird timings as well. Like, yes, you're going for a reset now, but you didn't force 4 members into mid lane, which means you're kind of sharing XP, and, no one's really kind of going anything, versus on the other side, you're getting pressure on the bot side, you're getting pressure around the dragon. You just like, this is my problem, is that you just spent all that time and resources to get this vision around mid, and then you all reset at the same time, which means you forfeit that information, you forfeit that pressure. And that means you're just giving Ultra Prime more space to kind of come back into this. So just very, very strange kind of setup here from OMG. And they really want to try and find this front-to-back team fight. But with Forge on the bot side and, Hery already around the top side, maybe looking for a TP flank, they haven't cleared out this ward, which could be pivotal around this blue buff area.
Yeah, if OMG don't clear this ward out and they end up in the river, that teleport from Hery is going to be meaty. I'll say that. This teleport's coming in now from Shanji on the mid lane wave, just to try and take a little bit of control. Hery's going to go back to base, so I think he's just going to commit to a teleport flank. Kind of surprised. Maybe he has second item as well. If he does, that's huge, because definitely buff him. I beg your pardon. Buff him up in damage a fair amount. OMG are now here in the river, and that ward is still very much present and is being teleported on now.
That TP is going to come in, but they are putting a lot of damage here onto Ning, who jumps in straight away onto the Aphelios. They found the back line, but can they kill him off? That is the question. No!
Oh my god!
Finally getting himself 2 kills. Abel is not going to go down. He is unstoppable on this Aphelios. Triple kill here for the OMG topsider. Shanji keeping everybody else at bay. Creme looking to try and help him out, but it was only to the delay for the dragon to be taken. OMG just kept Abel alive, and he put out the damage.
Oh, Abel, you monster. You had Vile on you, you had an Akali on top of you, a Renekton flanking you, and you still came out on top. Excellent kite work, and just being able to have the Gale Force. He had the second item available to him, as well as the Flash. Now they're just turning it into a quick Baron. The responses here from Doggo and SwordArt. And health bars are kind of low, but it's minced. It's gone. 1,000 more HP, it gets smited. Maybe Forge can make a mess of it, but they should just about be able to get out. Maybe the Blast Code's there, Rashid!
Oh, double knock up, and that's going to be 2 Barons almost certainly going down. They didn't respect the fact that Forge could PP in. Aki doesn't have Flash, and he doesn't have a decoy. He's just sitting there waiting. They're going to make sure that he doesn't get a return kill onto SwordArt or Doggo, but that is 2 little Barons going back, but I still think big win here for OMG.
This is crazy. I mean, forget whatever's going on the top side of the fight. Just look at Abel, man, because you see Vi end up outside of the mixer. Forge obviously had the angle on him. And then how does he get out of this? Because he gets Vi Q, then he Gale Forces and flashes down.
Oh my lord, 40
and
HP.
He's just able. Oh, Forge is cute.
Oh, Forge. Yeah.
Just wide by a fraction. And that just means Abel's able to walk it out. And takes away a triple kill for his triples as well. And they get the dragon.
5 kills. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
It's a hell of a lot. And that's coming back in. Baron as well. The momentum. Funny enough, the gold hasn't swung back in favor of OMG because of those exit kills coming in for Ultra Prime. They still hold about a 1,500 gold lead. And the tower in mid did get taken down as well, as we can see in the replay, after the replay. So only about a minus 1,000 gold power play for the moment for OMG, but the key thing is they stopped the soul point from going over. They've got themselves 1 dragon, and with the composition they've built, stacking Infernals is the worst thing Ultra Prime can let OMG do.
Yeah, definitely. Every single champion here utilizes that soul, or just each individual dragon besides the Rel. You just don't want to be dealing with extra damage. Oh my goodness me, Cassante! He's done it again.
He's done it again. And Ultra Prime would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling Cassante, and that is going to be a tower, more pressure, and now you don't really have wave clear. That's the really terrible thing now with this composition, is that once the Xayah is dead, the Akali and the Renekton cannot clear minions. You can see just 2 caster minions there trying to see what they can do. As they're going to see maybe a move onto the bot side. Akali jumping in here onto Abel. Abel doesn't go down just yet, gets a little bit of a heal, but does finally go down. Shanji taking a lot of damage as Ning tries to chase him away. Hery will be traded back though, and Ning won't be able to kill him off because he's Cassante. He has too many dashes, and they go right back to the regularly scheduled television and sieging in this mid lane.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to pick up the tower off the back end. Decent engage from Ning. Follow-up is pretty quick. They know Abel's got no flash. He's in an awkward enough position that Gale Force isn't really going to save him. But OMG able to just dump all of their damage into the targets in front of them as a collective and kill off Hery very quickly. And Ning could not kill Cassante. He's got a Thorn Mail and this Iceborne Gauntlet. He's got 247 armor. And even with Black Cleaver and Fire's innate passive, you're just not killing him off. So, Shanji, Q into W. Yeah, there's just not really anything Doggo can do after he gets hit by the knockback. Spends about 3 seconds in CC, but angle comes in from Ning. There's no ward here from OMG. And they're actually angling a dive, I think, but as you can see, a little bit too caught out. This ultimate here from Abel unfortunately goes a bit wide. Not really his fault. Members just walk past it. And unfortunately, as you can see, backline, Ning cannot kill Shanji. Actually dashes away from the Q as well. That might have saved his life. And Hery does his best to just basically make a mess of it, but doesn't really have it in him. And OMG walk away with 2 kills, even though they lose Abel. Baron, however, didn't really net them too much. It was basically just the tier 1 towers on the top and the mid side of the map, which in the extended is going to be traded out here by Forge. So it's not the end of the world for Ultra Prime. And they can still certainly look towards this next dragon and contest it. Only real big item difference right now is between Doggo and Abel. But Abel has got that Bloodthirster completed. And Doggo himself is still looking for that Lord Dominic's. I don't think he's going to be able to complete it in time.
Forge TPing back into the fight. Does have a stopwatch now, so ready for this fight. Stopwatch available for the Renekton as well. Hery is right on top of awards, so his flank has been discovered, and they are all coercing around him. He's going to get charmed over the wall by Creme, and they're going to kill him almost instantly. There is the stopwatch getting utilized straight away, but a 1v5 situation. Hery, my dude. It's like in a shooter. You got to check your corners, and in League of Legends, you got to check for wards.
Oh, man. Why did he flash?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I didn't even notice that. I just assumed he died so quickly.
He tried to flash out and get a double E onto the dragon and out, but doesn't quite find it. And like you said, gotta check those corners. It's been something that Hery unfortunately didn't abide to, and pays for it with his life. Now this gives a window to OMG to just maybe even take this tier 2 as well. I don't really feel like Ultra Prime have been very committed to this defense. The rotations late. There's only Forge down here, so that's 2 towers as well. So pretty nice gold swing. Dragon's up, or Baron's up rather, in 45 seconds. OMG can just look to play towards that. Can they even get this tier 2? If they get this tier 2, no, the wave's going to go. Wave's dead. If they got all 3 of those towers on top of the dragon, that would have been one of the meanest rotations I've seen in a while. And it would have been Ultra Prime's fault as well. They were slow to the bottom side one. They just about managed to defend the mid lane.
Next time he goes for that flank, I'm assuming he'll have a pink ward to throw in that brush and just cover himself, or at least a sweeper. Does have one in his inventory right now. But yeah, I mean, like, you can start to see with OMG that they're just starting to feel a bit more comfortable with the way the game's going right now. The Cassante with 3 items, the Aphelios with 3 items and a stopwatch. You're building up lots of damage here with this Ahri. No longer the vegan build. You've got the Shadow Flame. You're building up towards what I imagine is going to be either a death cap here for Creme. Still a ways away because he did pick up that Oblivion Orb to get some healing cut. But still, nevertheless, doing so much here for the side of OMG. The longer this game goes, the harder I feel like it becomes for Ultra Prime to try and get those miracle flanks. Because again, OMG not going to be in a position to kind of go for it. They look for something, but they're kind of half-ass it. And that means OMG smell blood in the water. Abel in a little bit of a 1v2, and he will be taken out there. But it's a 2-for-1 trade. Forge goes into a stasis as Hery tries to redeem himself. But a double kill coming in here for Shanji on the Cassante. OMG saw one moment of hesitation from Ultra Prime, and that was all they needed.
Yeah, Ultra Prime, the hesitation wasn't there when they dove onto Abel, but they kind of forgot about the rest of their team. And OMG just walked through them. This should be game 1. I think OMG are angling for the end. Even without Abel, it should just be about doable. It's a bit flippy. Maybe they make a turn. No, they want it. They want it. They think they can do it.
Yeah.
Damage is a little bit low on these towers.
Yeah. I like that Ppgod. I like the idea from SwordArt. He was like, if I could just stop the wave. Unfortunately, Ppgod got himself in. I will say, though, they are not going to try and throw this one, throw the baby out with the bathwater. They are going to back themselves away. They don't want to, give away 4 kills and then a Baron.
No, hey, no, I'm derailing the cast now. Throw the baby out of the bathtub. What?
Throw the baby out with the bathwater? Or did I say bathtub? I might have said bath. Never heard. Wait, I definitely meant to say throw the baby out with the bathwater. Have you never heard that saying?
Heard that saying.
You've never heard throw the baby. Look it up, dude. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
Either way, a replay here. Shanji's playing Cassante. Yeah, that's the replay. Nothing else to see here. Abel again gets dove in the back line, and that's just about it. I'm sorry, that was just so off. Ultra Prime. Hello, engage.
Engage going in. Creme stays alive, though. And now Abel is going to be able to throw this baby out with the bathwater. He's going to go in and try and do as much as he possibly can. Ning and Hery, though, doing a lot of damage. He flashes away and keeps himself alive. Forge was the last man standing. A soul. I'm sorry, I'm not going to continue with this one. I'm just going to be OMG now pushing up that mid lane. With only 1 Nexus turret left, they should be able to end the game.
I'm just wondering, is it an age discrepancy thing here? Like, is it the fact that I'm just a little bit
old?
I know you're not that old, but I'm just like, is it just a slight generational gap? Maybe that's all.
I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
It could be. Yeah, maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
Maybe it's Irish people and their sayings,
Yeah, but I think there's a culture of winning right now for OMG. And that one's return after their series loss against LNG. Game 1 looks pretty decent here. in the return. Ultra Prime, let's go back to the drawing board a little bit, but I like the ideas of the composition, and I liked how aggressive they were.
Yeah, I believe.
Hi, I was coming up.
You okay?
Hi. Yeah, no, I was sat down, and I didn't realize how quick the transition was going to be. It's just my bad.